So hi, this video is for National Nanotechnology Day. I'm here at the Center for Nanoscale Materials at Argonne National Lab, and we're going to talk about things nano. And in order to give you an idea of what exactly constitutes something at the nanoscale, I figured we'd start with this number line. And so I'm standing here at a 1 meter mark. And so meters are things that you're relatively familiar with. I'm a little bit less than 2 meters tall. You know, arm span is about 2 meters. Those are things at the meter scale. And what's interesting about this number line is that it's called logarithmic scale. It's not a linear scale. So a linear scale would be when I move to the next one over, I just have 2. On a logarithmic scale, I'm going to move to the next one over and it's going to be 10 times larger. So we're going to start here at 1 meter and we're going to start to go things that people are a little bit more familiar with. So we're going to go up by a power of 10. We're going to get to 10 meters. And so that's kind of the size of this room. It's maybe the dimensions of the place where you live, apartment, a condo, a house. And if we go one more up and get to 100 meters, this is, again, 10 times bigger than that. And so now this is like a football field. It's a little bit less than 100 meters. And if we go one more up to 10 to the 3, and so as I keep going to the right, you'll notice that these powers on the top, we went from 10 to the 0, which is 1 meter, 10 to the 1 is 10 meters, 10 to the 2 is 100, 10 to the 3. And so we're going to keep going up, and you'll see that the numbers here keep going up as well. So again, we're now at a kilometer. Kilometer are things like the dimensions or how far it is for you to go to school or to a business or to go get groceries, something like that, for a nice walk. We go up to 10 kilometers. This is more like if you maybe need to get in a car and go visit a friend or a family relative in a nearby location, but still maybe within the same city. If we kind of get to the 100 kilometer number, then we're a little bit further distance. So now you're talking about like an hour-ish in a car. Go one more. Now we're at 10 to the 6 meters, which is 1,000 kilometers. This is a nice road trip across the United States. So as we keep going here, we're going to go to 10 to the 7. And now when we get to 10 to the 8 meters, this is the distance you'd have to go in order to get to the surface of the moon. So in this range, we went from 10 to the 0 to 10 to the 8. We went from things like you and me up to how far it is to go to the moon. And now we're going to keep going. And as we keep going, we pass 10 to the 9, 10 to the 10, 10 to the 11. At 10 to the 11, this is the distance it would take for you to go all the way to the surface of the sun, approximately. 10 to the 12, 13, 14, 15, and now 16. So again, we went from that 10 to the 0 to 10 to the 8, and now we went 10 to the 8 to 10 to the 16 meters. 10 to the 16 meters is approximately 1 light year, and this is kind of the diameter of our solar system. So all the objects that are kind of rotating around the sun is about 1 light year, and it's 10 to the 16 meters. And then again, we're going to keep going up. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 is when we hit the diameter of the Milky Way galaxy. So our galaxy, when you look up in the night sky and you're in a nice clear location with no light pollution, you can see the Milky Way up in the sky. The diameter of that is about 10 to the 21 meters. 22, 23, 24. So now we've gone another one of those kind of arm lengths, 2 meter-ish. And now we're up 10 to the 24. And the reason we're going to keep going, we're going to go a little bit more, and we're going to get to 10 to the 25. And I don't have a cool picture of this, but I encourage you to actually go to the NASA website. It's an interactive view of the entire universe. This is the length scale of the known universe. And so go to the website. It's a really interactive picture. But to this length scale, 10 to the 26, is the entire universe. And the reason I bring this up, why we went so large, is because when the universe started in the Big Bang, there were photons that were emitted in the microwave range of the spectrum that started traveling at the Big Bang. And they've now traveled 5 times 10 to the 26 meters to arrive at Earth. And for National Nanotechnology Day, we are making devices that are going to measure these photons after they've traveled this long distance. So now we're going to work our way all the way back to kind of 1 meter. So as we go through, we're passing back, we're zooming back in. And I'm going to remind you again of this kind of arm length type numbers. We went from distance of the moon down to kind of stuff that you and I know. And now we're going to go smaller. So at 10 to the minus 1, we're at the 10 centimeter type range. And so centimeters are cool for measuring things like, let's say, distances of a notepad. Go down to 1 centimeter, and now we go down to 1 millimeter. Millimeters like the width of the notepad, or maybe the diameter of a pencil. We go one more power of 10, and we get into the micrometer range. And so now we're at 100 micrometers. 100 micrometers is roughly the diameter of one of your hairs. So if you pull out a hair, take a look at it, that diameter is around 100 micrometers. And as we go another power of 10 down, cut that into 10 equal parts, and we're down to 10 micrometers and 1 micrometer for another power of 10. And this is the range of cells in our body. So bacteria, anything else, skin cells, these are kind of all in the 1 to 10 micrometer range size for cells. Go one more power, and this is where we start to get into the nanometer range. And this is kind of where the technology is going to live. And as a comparison, 100 nanometers is roughly the size of some of the viruses that we're talking about nowadays. Go a little bit smaller, 10 to the minus 8, 10 nanometers. And then finally, we're at single nanometer. And these are the scale of individual atoms. Atoms, small molecules, things like that. And so we went, if you remember, 10 to the 0 to 10 to the 8 is we get us all the way from you and me all the way out to the moon. 10 to the 0, another arm span, we're down into the nanometer range, almost down to the level of individual atoms. And so what I talked about earlier, all the way down there, the light the microwaves that were emitted at the beginning of the universe, at the Big Bang, and they traveled that whole distance, 5 times 10 to the 26 meters. We're going to build devices in this kind of length scales in order to collect that light and learn more about exactly how the Big Bang happened. So we're going to go take a break. We're going to walk over to a special room that's called the clean room, where we construct these devices. So here we are outside of the clean room. Clean room is a specialty lab with filtration to keep out particles. Because we're going to make devices that are on the size of micrometers and nanometers, we need to be very specific about particles in the atmosphere. And so the clean room has specialty filters that filter out these particles so that they don't interfere with the operation of the devices that we're working on. And so, like I had mentioned, we're in the kind of micro and 100 nanometer range. So if you sit down on a nice sunny day and you see the sunlight coming in through a window, what you'll observe in that sunlight, little particles floating around. And those are even bigger than at the length scales that we want to be working. And so we designed, designed a lab space where you can filter out that so that it doesn't ruin the devices. And so we're going to go in there, and there are several projects that that I can talk about that we're going to work on at the nanoscale. One of them are these detectors that we're using to detect the cosmic microwave background radiation. And we're also, so what they do is they collect photons that were originated at the beginning of the universe, and they start to count them. What they're going to do is they're going to look at that distribution throughout the space and try and refine some of their theories about exactly how the Big Bang actually worked. Other devices that we also work on are ring resonators. And so again, an astronomy type application where they take light in from the sky from far off distant galaxies. Again, we're talking about things that have traveled this type of distance, 10 to the 26 meters just to get here. And now we're going to collect them using nanoscale devices. So the ring resonators filter out some of the interference in the atmosphere that are coming in from, that originate in water in the atmosphere. And so now we can build ground-based telescopes to look out into the sky, even through the atmosphere, and get results similar to the space-based telescopes. Some of the other things we've done is made arrays of nanoparticles into spherical type lenses, and they work equivalently to what you have for glasses. So some of you may be wearing glasses or contacts, and how that works is that it takes light, refracts the light to adjust for the correction because your eye doesn't focus it quite right. And so we've built an array of nanoparticles that are on the order of the wavelength of light. kind of on this 10 to the minus 7 meter range, so 100 nanometers on that order, and it focuses it all within particles. None of the particles are bigger than this 100 nanometer range. That's another project that we're working on. We're also building things like zone plates that focus the X-ray. So we're adjacent here to the advanced photon source at Argonne National Lab, and where they use hard X-rays to study materials, properties, and to learn about how they function and their structure. So we're going to now head into the clean room. I'll show you how we have to wear specialty clothes to again reduce the number of those particulates so that we don't ruin the devices at this scale just from particulates from the air. And then I'll bring you into a couple different pieces of equipment to show how we make some of these devices, and then we'll wrap up. So here we are, we're in the part of the clean room that's called the gowning room. And what I'm going to now do is put on some specialty pieces of clothing that will allow me to be protected, to allow the clean room to be protected from me. So everything here is not for protection of me from chemicals or anything like that. This is all to keep all of the dust and particles on me out of the clean room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some gloves, and then we're going to go into a hood, and then a bodysuit, and then boots that come up over my feet so that I'm completely protected. Last thing, of course, will always be safety glasses. So we'll begin. All right, so we've made our way into the clean room, and you don't need to adjust your monitor or your phone, however you're viewing this. It is actually yellow. So the surrounding light here is yellow, and the reason that we do that is because during our process of how we make devices, we use a photosensitive polymer. And the photosensitive polymer is sensitive to light in the blue and the ultraviolet. And so we can't have blue light in the room, so we can't use regular white light. So we put special yellow filters over the top to filter out the blue and the green and all the ultraviolet so that it doesn't ruin the pattern that we're making for the actual devices. And so I talked about a little bit earlier that we were making some detectors to pick up the microwaves that have been traveling since the beginning of the universe. And one of the ways that we do that is using, it's called optical lithography. And this is a stepper technology. And what it does is it takes a design and it's able to repeat it across an entire wafer. And so it works by first spinning on top of a silicon wafer some photoresist. And then you put it in the stepper, it exposes it, comes out, and creates your pattern. And then the devices, all of these devices are made by subsequent either removal of material or adding material in specific locations to create the structure that you finally want. And so one of the finished structures looks like this. And so it's an array of a whole bunch of detectors that are used to detect those microwaves that have been traveling from the beginning of the universe. And we have different polarizations, so different directions that we're looking for, and they're going to map out the entire sky and try and measure how that looks to match up with the theory of how it works. And so this piece of equipment here is one of the primary pieces of equipment that we used. You may notice it doesn't look maybe as up to technologically date as some of might expect, but what we use is equipment from the semiconductor industry. And so in order to make wafers of this dimension, the semiconductor industry, this was the technology that they used back in the mid-90s. And so we're now using it now to make science at the nanoscale for different types of applications. So several of my examples that we talked about outside, the ring resonators, a lot of it was very optics based, but we also make devices that take advantage of mechanical and electrical properties as well. So this is one of the pieces of equipment. It's called a stepper. It has a set of lenses and it images a mask onto the wafer and repeated. As you saw in this wafer, they're all repeated all over the wafer and are all identical, and that allows us to do the science that we're looking to do. So now we're going to go and we're going to move to a different room where we're going take advantage of some much advanced technology that allows us to use electrons to focus down to the nanometer scale to make structures even smaller than this. Because this uses optical photons, you're kind of limited in the size of your structures onto the order of hundreds of nanometers down to tens of nanometers. We're now going to go to an electron beam lithography system, and we're going to get down to where we can print features on the order of single nanometers up to about 10 nanometers. So here we go. All right, so we've made our way over to another piece of equipment in the clean room called the electron beam lithography tool. And basically what it does, instead of using optical photons, we use electrons, and we focus them down to as small as we can get electrons to come together because they try to repel each other. And then we use that to make features on the nanometer scale. And so this tool here will do that. It'll create devices all the way down to on the order of about 6 nanometers in size. And so from that, we can make lots of other structures. So the flat lens that we had talked about earlier, where we had made arrays of identical nanoparticles using electron beam lithography, this is the tool that we made that on. And they were all nominally identical over a very large area of the wafer on the order of millimeter size. So that's it for now. We're going to head to one more tool, and then we'll be on our way out. All right, we're now in the last room of this brief tour. A lot of our devices end up taking multiple layers of lithography, so either electron beam lithography or optical lithography, where we're creating a pattern in a polymer on the surface of a substrate. And then we're going to either selectively remove material, sometimes we add material, and those are the kind of functions we do. And so then there'll be multiple layers. And so the devices that we showed you earlier in that other room have about 18 steps, 18 to 22 steps, where you're either adding something or removing something in order to make the device work to enable the science that we're doing. And so this device here is a plasma etcher, reactive ion etching. So it creates a plasma, and with specific gases, we'll remove the material that is exposed in that pattern on the wafer. And so here we have a plasma. There are other pieces of equipment here that we're not going to go through today where we can deposit using similar plasma technologies. So in all of that, we bring that all together to enable the devices to measure, to do the science that we're looking to do. All right, we've had a brief introduction to some equipment in the clean room, a very brief overview of kind of processing in the clean room, the creation of patterns and polymers and removal or addition of material. And so now we're going to head on our way back out, and we're going to continue the discussion a little bit on the outside. So we'll see you there. All right, so we're back out of the clean room now, and we're here at our length scales. I hope that you learned something today about nano scale and nanotechnology that we use to measure things at this scale. I will preface this that it was a very brief introduction, so we have lots of information at the Center for Nanoscale Materials website. I'd also like to say that not all nanotechnology that we talked about today is made in a clean room. There's a lot of work that's done in a different method. So we use semiconductor processing to do what's typically called top-down fabrication, where everything comes in from the top and we build up layers or remove layers to create the nanotechnology. There's a whole nother side of people here at the CNM who work from the bottom up, who synthesize materials and particles to go from starting at kind of atom type scales and working their way up to interact at these type of length scales. And so maybe next year you'll be treated to learn more about that. So again, thank you. It is National Nanotechnology Day. Hopefully we were able to introduce that to you. So again, just in summary, the distance from kind of me and you, meter type level, up to the distance it would take to get to the moon is the same type of scale that it would take to go from me and you down to the nanoscale, about 8 orders of magnitude. So hope you have a great day, and thank you for listening.